Hey everyone, and welcome to another week of locals. This time it was with the 2v2 battle that you might have seen at your local card shop. I was playing with my buddy. He was on Lucci. I'll have my Yamato deck profile at the end. The list will be in the description if you just want to copy it in the sim. Very fun event, and if you're wondering where I got my playmat that I'm using in the video from, you can check out Nen Garden, link in the description. Use my code StrawHatPekin for 5% off. I'm using the Whole Cake Island one. I really like it, but you can use it on any item that's on sale. My code stacks on top of it. Overall, this was a pretty fun event. I like these kind of different things. I've just been having a lot of fun with Yamato, to be honest. So hope you guys are excited for that. And also a side note, please be very kind in the comments to any of my opponents, anybody playing in general, right? They're all doing me a favor by allowing me to record the matches to post in the first place. So be courteous and kind to everybody involved in the videos, and let's just have some fun. Let me know in the comments if you went to your locals 2v2, if they had one or not. Pretty fun event, to be honest, but let's get into the games. But shout out to our round one against Bello Betty. Apologies for the camera angle. I'll try and fix it as much as I can. It was a little bit awkward. I wasn't even intending to record all the POVs, you know, but we got my buddy on Lucci going against Blue Purple Luffy. I'm going against Bello Betty, and you'll see it's so funny. Two aggro decks. I think we played like 3 games in the amount of time that they did their one. No shade or anything. Obviously, it's just like those decks are much more like long game than swing, double attack, and buff your entire board, right? But we are going out here. I played out my 4-cost Hiyori to just cycle, draw a card, get some more counter, and cheat out the Kikunojo, because I love the Hiyori. It is essentially 3 less cards in my deck because I run 3 copies, right? And if I'm going to play out like a Kikunojo already, I'd rather draw an additional card, like cycle my hand a bit, right? Because I'm trying to draw into Banish for this matchup particularly, and we play the Ashura Doji to get rid of the Karasu he played out. That's why I swung a little bit lighter a previous turn, right? I want to see if he'll counter out. We got him down to 3 life, and his board is just 4-cost Ivankov and a Karasu. I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about Lucci to give commentary on my man's game plan. I look over, and all I see is him removing stuff and play out blockers. I'm like, okay, classic Lucci material, right? But I'm feeling pretty confident right now because I'm still at 3 life and we have a lot of 2Ks. We do have a lot of Hodies though, so if we need to, we can go for game, right? So he's getting out the 5-cost Ivankov and the Rush Inazuma. So I'm like, okay, we only have like 1 more turn of this at the very most, right? Even without the Karasu, that's just too many swings. That's 5 swings already. He's buffing up the board. Got a 7k Inazuma, 5k Kuma, so that's 6k. And we take... That is the Demonic Aura event, which I could have rested. However, I'm keeping that in hand in case we need that to rest a blocker if he gets 1 out of life. However, we also do have Izo too, so I don't know. But that 2 Don for 3 Don value buff is just so good too when you're going for game. And we have enough 2Ks past that. We have 2 Izos and a Hiyori in hand. So we can definitely counter out. But here he goes 8 into the Kikunojo. So that's why I give 2 2Ks. Because he realizes he can't win on this turn. And we have leader in Kikunojo, and Ashura technically is a swing with leader ability, right? Which I should have kept the Demonic Aura in hand, to be honest, and just swung first, because I don't think he had that many cards in hand. I think it was like 4 or so, maybe a little less, I don't know, but I should have kept that in hand because I can use the Ashura Doji to like rest that to rest the blocker. Because you see here, he gets the Karasu blocker, which is crazy last life. We go 3 for Izo, rest that, and attach 2 with our leader ability, and then we just go big swing and get it. Shout out to round 1. I'll play through some more of the game just because if you guys want to watch the Lucci and Up Luffy matchup. But we see on my buddy's side, he's got the 2 Laboons down, a couple of Rebecca's out, definitely helping him reduce. But yeah, I really don't have enough knowledge on his Lucci deck list. And he's been playing it since he came out. He's been cooking, trying to stack it against blue purple. We're just playing for fun over here on the left, and we see blue purple playing out the Rush Secret Rare, right? So for how this works, I guess we'll go over now. You're a 2v2, right? You have one player that's priority player. If they win their matchup, they get 3 points. Your other partner, the other player, the non-priority, gets 2 points if they win, right? So a total team can get 5 points, right? And that's how like the scoring goes. And then every round it switches who's priority. Sorry, I end up fixing the camera. I know it's a little bit wonky setup, but bear with me, right? But yeah, it switches who's priority every round. So I started off as priority, so I've won us 3 points for our team. And then next round, I will be the non-priority player, right? And then my buddy on Lucci will be priority. So his board's looking honestly pretty scary, and that's kind of how it went, right? I'd look over, board looked kind of scary, and then I'd look back over, and you know, it gets a little removed. But we swing into life just a little bit. I think a 6 gauge, hoping he counters out, to be honest. He takes and gets a Kuma trigger that pops my Yamato Searcher, which is, it sucks because that can always become a 5k swing with leader ability. And he plays out a Karasu. We see buddy over there going for the Mancherry play. It looks like he's got a Brook and Laboon combo. He used the 2 Laboons and the Brook to pop a 9 cost Sanji, I believe, and then he picks up a Frankie 2k. And over here on my board, I've got 2 Kikanojos out. We're just trying to swing as much banish as I can to pressure the hand size. We get him to counter out. And then we go 6 and 6 at the board with our 2, and then we attach 2 our Izo to form a blocker. I love the new Izo so much. It works perfectly, in my opinion, with the 5 cost Momonosuke blocker, right? Just to recycle it. Yeah, we have 4 copies of the deck, but essentially you can have much more value of that, of like playing the Izo out, swinging life with banish, double attack, and then using the 5 cost to heal back to life, then playing it back out again, right? And because of that, I think I only run 3 Onami for banish. It's a very nice card, but again, Izo searchable. He goes 8 at our Kikanojo again because he's in danger of the double attack, right? Of course. And then he goes at life, and we get a Kinemon. So very lucky on that aspect. We go 2 Onami, and then I think he only has like 1 card in life, so we just go 7 banish and go in for the GG. Just fun games, right? A couple of aggro decks, as you can tell, going at each other. Meanwhile, on the right, we got a Rob Lucci, Rebecca, Brook, Laboon combo. Pretty nasty stuff, right? And we end up playing a 3rd game because we're just having fun, right? A couple of aggro decks. Of course, our games are going to be over faster. You can see him running the Tonoyasu, right? The 2 cost that buffs 3k. I think I got the 6 drop Rush. We're going 2nd this time. And we could play out the Tonoyasu, but I don't think we had a banish option, right? And that's like a really strong 2 into 4 Don combo, is playing out Tonoyasu on 2 Don, and then on 4 Don you use his ability and then play out a banish card. So instead of seeing like 7k banish, you can swing like 10k banish on your 4 Don turn, which is kind of crazy, right? Unless your opponent has a blocker. But because we didn't have the banish option, I just end up pitching him as 1k counter. Looks like buddy is going minusing the Katakuri. Going 6 of life and blocks with the Katakuri. And plays Hina to minus again, and then Jack to KO. Gotcha, okay. Yeah, I know he's running the 10 cost Kuzan, which has become like one of my favorite cards in any black deck in this meta. But I don't think he's found it or had a good chance to play it out. And here over on my side, I think we just stacked a card in life because I think it had the Hiyori out. Yeah. And we do have a few rush options. But yeah, also, I know a lot of lists don't run the 4-cost Hiyori, and I always say it, but just having that pure draw 1 in the option, it makes finding Hody a lot easier because you have 3 options to just to draw into him, 3 more chances in a game just to draw into him, right? And if you don't find him, not that you find him in a search, but if you search on like one Don with the Yamato and don't see him, then your odds is drawing into him throughout the game grow higher, right? Because you didn't see him in the top 5, 9 in your hand, right? And if I'm going to play with the 5-cost Momo, it's really nice to get that extra Don worth of efficiency, right? And then we get the Kiko Nojo out of our life. Looks like he did get the 10-cost Kuzan out. Shout out. We go 7 of life over here. And he takes. Gets a Morley. And no trigger. So we go Toniyasu, which can buff your leader or character. And go just a huge swing. Right? There's a big swing. So just a few fun games. I'm really loving this Yamato deck. Truthfully. There's just so many pieces that I love in the deck. And I think they all have good options. But here we see, honestly, with the Jack and the Kuzan out on board, it is very nice. He bounces the Hiyori back to hand, it seems. And swings out at him. Gets no trigger from life. Board looking very scary. However, he does have the option to remove pretty much 1 body per turn for free, right? And just gets rid of that rush Luffy with the Jack. Doesn't even have to swing, right? It's I apologize for the camera angle. It's very hard for, like, it's just like a phone stand. Not super professional setup I get, right? But hard to tell what he's got in his hand. He plays out Rebecca. Goes Rebecca Hina on the Big Mom. Nice to be establishing so many blockers, right? Just getting out of those big swings. He goes Tempest Kick and then 4-cost, popping the Big Mom and the Sanji all in one. Putting back 3 cards to the bottom of your deck with the Rob Lucci ability, right? And then he bottom decks the Grab Blade. I believe he stacked, yes, so he did stack that Grab Blade with the Big Mom ability. That is such insane value to not only like play out a Sanji into another 9-cost to heal and get rid of one of your opponent's characters, right? But to stack, knowingly be able to stack in a trigger like that to get rid of a 5-cost is kind of insane value, right? But we see here he ends up just going in for the rush swing and getting it. I believe after he was like, yeah, I just didn't expect the 9-cost rush, to be honest. And fair enough, right? Fair enough. Very long game, but very fun ones. We end up getting 3 points right from round 1 because I won the priority. But shout out to our round 2. I'm going against Green Purple Luffy going first. My buddy is going against Red Green Smoker. He's going second. So he is now the priority matchup, right? So if I win my match, we get 2 points. If he wins his, we get 3 points, right? I think a lot of people are currently tied on that like 2 and 3 point at the moment. I don't think anyone really got at this point, I don't think anyone's team won both of their matches. I just have my Banish, just won 6k Banish to get a card out of his hand, right? Looks like he's got the 3-cost Sanji out on the board, which becomes a 4k power on your opponent's turn, right? Because Smoker buffs all of your Punk Hazard and Navy type characters by 1k on your opponent's turn. Opponent takes the first double attack. We pop his Zoro with the Ashra Doji. He goes another Zoro, but luckily there won't be a Sanji putting out this turn, right? He'll go back up to 4 active Dawn. And now it's a 6k. So he buffs up the Zoro and goes into our Nami after we sung 5. We'll see he plays out the Frankie to ramp back up. And we see, was it a couple of Brooks out on my friend's board. Has a Hody out as well. Quite aggressive, honestly. Quite aggressive, but we get him down to 0 life, you see, and I'm still very healthy. He plays out Luffy Taro into a Sanji Pudding, so no blocker, right? But he has a very big hand, right? Very big hand as he replaced both the Zoros and he drew the card, right? So he's taken 4 life. Played out a few searchers and things that just replace itself out of his hand. And here I'm like debating. I have a few 2Ks in my hand, as you can see, the Kinemon, some Izo, right? And I play out a Kinemon trigger, just to have another body swing with, right? If I play out any Tudon thing to buff, right? Or we can use him as a swing, even though he's a 6k leader. We play out Izo to rest the Robin. We play Tonoyasu to buff our lead up to 8k. And here we go, 12 at life, 12 into 6k. He has no Don up for Giant, gives 2 2s and 0 costs, a Sanji Pudding. And then we go 7 again, and he goes 2 1ks. I believe he said he had no more counter after that. So pretty rough. I'm going to be honest, pretty rough to have like a 12k swing get countered out with no come Giant. But that's how that's how being a 6k leader goes, right? It's troublesome, but we almost got it. As you can see here, if I just countered out last turn and I was still at like 4 life, I think I might have survived this turn, or possibly he might have just done something differently. Who knows, right? But now that he's got that Luffy out on board, there's just no mathematical way that I can get out of all of these swings unless I had like 0 cost in my deck, which I'm not running, right? Which is unfortunate. But we see Buddy on Lucy's got the Brook. He plays out the 10 cost Kuzan to pop the Tashigi, and then swings with the Brook to pop the Smoker. And still is at 2 life, so decent spot to be in, right? Not in danger of Hody. But yeah, we end up losing our matchup, which sucks, but we were non-priority matchup, so it's not the end of the world, I guess, as long as my friend can win his matchup. And here we are. I think I'm looking for like how close I was to getting a buff card, right, to get an extra Don of value. And yeah, if I had a Kikinojo out of life instead of the Kinemon, we won at 1 because of that 1k difference in counter, which is crazy, right? To go first into green purple and then get him down to 0 life, right? And we didn't have the Hody, so if he left open a Don, no, he couldn't have. I think I don't know, but still very close matchup. So I had fun. We'll see. He goes the Mancherry. to get back a Brook, it looks like. And plays the Brook. Then swinging with the Hina at life. So, yep. He goes in for the game and gets it. So, my friend, he won his match priority, so got 3 points. So total right now we have 6 points for our team, which is pretty good. I think that puts us up pretty high in the rankings. However, I think at this point another team won both of their matches, so they got like 5 points, I want to say, or I don't really know. All right, but shout out to round 3. We are playing against Red Ace. I love this man. He's always bringing something nice. He's been playing Red Ace for a while. I think he said since like Sakazuki days, right? I don't think he's updated this deck. And then my buddy is playing against a Kobe, which is, I think, pretty rough for Lucci, right? Because of that protection from removal, obviously. We are going second, so we just end up passing on to Don. This can be quite an interesting matchup, I would say. He's a 5 life bleeder, which is already a bit troublesome, right? And then he just goes 5 and 5. I didn't really want to counter out with the Onami because we have 2 cards for Banish, right? I just wanted to hit him with Banish. But Ace being able to trash events for counter can make going for game pretty tricky, right? You can't really count out any card in hand as counter. And also he has things like Flame Emperor, which give him double attack too, and has a lot of rush cards. So he goes 5 at our life and we counter out because, again, he's not a 3 or less life yet, so I want to maximize the potential for bodies coming out of our life. He goes 6 at life, we take, and ends up being a Hody, so not a trigger body anyway. But yeah, I don't like taking hits to our life before we can get a body out. We just go 9 at life, not banished, so he ends up taking it. We use Hiyori, take our bottom life, put a body into our top life. I think it was a Kikunojo, I want to say, because I have another Kikunojo in hand, so why wouldn't I put a Kikunojo to hand, right? And we got a Tonoyasu from our bottom life. And we see Kobe swinging into the Brook. And then I think the card from the Helmeppo gets bottom decked after the turn. But yeah, that Izo Searcher was saying, like, it put in like so much work. I feel like I should have KO'd it, to be honest, a long time ago. But he goes 5 and we counter at 1 because I know there's going to be another attack coming, so I don't want to go down too low in life too early, right? So counter out when I can counter out. But yeah, that Izo has gotten so much counter on my hand. But like I said, I really need to get him down to 3 or less life. Right, so I didn't want to waste a leader swing into that. Also, since I had Kikunojo in hand, I want to play it out, right? But if he uses some kind of KO, it would be rough because I wouldn't get the heal from it, and a lot of times you can rely on that heal. But yeah, I've had a lot of aggro matches, right? We go Ashura Doji just to get rid of that Izo because it has hurt me so many times. He's gotten like a good amount of counter out of my hand. And then we go 6 at life, and then we go 8 at life with our leader ability attaching to rested. And then we play out another Kikunojo. So that way, if he ends up popping one, just to relieve some of the aggression, we still have another body out to swing with, right? Those 6Ks can get quite annoying, especially when those 6Ks become 8Ks. But since Kobe leader ability is like a once per turn, I believe we see him playing out like a lot of Brooks, which can KO when attacking, obviously, to get that second KO during a turn, which can obviously help get around Kobe's leader ability, right? Because it's just a once per turn protection. Opponent plays out 7 Don for the Rush Ace, minusing power on our Kikunojo, which again, that's why I'm glad that I went down or got him down to 3 life, right? Because then I get to heal. Goes 7, and The amount of times an opponent has gotten rid of one of my Kikonojos and that life that I heal is another Kikonojo, it's not a lot, but I think it's like 3 times in my lifetime of playing the deck, which is it's enough to be like, that's, you know, right? I think here we're just gonna pick up a 2K. Yeah, the Ezo 2K. Just because we don't have a lot of counter in our hand, but we have a lot of aggression on the board, right? We go banish, and I think we just go big banish swing here, I want to say. Actually, no, I think I'm planning out to, if he counters out of the banish, we go Demonic Aura to buff the leader to 8, and I think I'm just going to go 9. So that way I can both make a blocker out of the Ezo and then swing pretty big into the ace in case he counters out of this, or, you know, either way. So he goes 6 by trashing an event and then going to 10. So we got a lot of counter out of his hand, and then we just go, I think, 10 into the ace, and then attach 2 Restodon to the Ezo. I'm kind of playing around just Rush and Flame Emperor here, right? Only 2 cards in hand, so I'm trying to be very cautious, which is very rare for me. I'll be honest, when I'm playing Yamato, I love, once my opponent's at 3 or less life, just taking on my life for the chance it's a trigger body. But since I've seen 2 Kikonojo so far, the likelihood that it's a trigger body gets less and less, right? But I'm very glad, you know, we got 3 cards out of his hand and cleared his board. We're in a pretty decent spot. But honestly, I think if he does have Flame Emperor, that would be pretty rough for us this turn. But since we got so much counter out of him last turn, I think I'd be okay with taking that life. We also always have the option to heal with like a 5-cost Momo if we find it. That also can get KO'd a lot of ways, but you know, having more blockers in the deck with the option of Ezo is also just super nice. Like I talked about, like recycling it for use again, like with the 5-cost Momo, just blocking it with it too is super nice. He goes another 7-cost ace and rushes, swings into the Kikonojo, which becomes 3K, right? Because of the minus power. And then he goes 7 out of life. And I'm debating taking again, but truly, I think I block out when I can. Because again, hand size is very low. I'm worried about getting rushed down and just kind of mathed out with how much I had to counter out early game. But honestly, at this point, both of our hands are getting quite low. I don't really have a good option to play out right. If I play out Hody, he'll still have a Dawn open, and I don't think I go for game this turn. So what do we do here? I think we just go pretty decent swing at life with the double attack. He ends up taking. And I think I go 6K and 6K as life just to get cards out of hand, because at this point I'm not worried about getting rushed down because I have 2 2Ks and 3 life, right? So I just go 6 and 6 just to get cards out of his hand. He's down to 1 life. We have Hody to go for game a following turn if we need to, right? His hand size is quite low at this point. We just got 2 cards out of his hand after giving him 2 cards, so RIP the camera. And here I'm the priority match, so that's why I'm trying to take it a little bit slower and taking it like right, because it's not just I'm playing for my friend too, right? He plays out the 10-cost Shanks that lowers power by everything, and now at this point he has, I think, 2 cards in hand, and we have the 6-cost Rush Momo, which gives us even more Dawn efficiency, right? So our leader gets buffed by 1K, so all we have to do is go 8 at life, and he has no Dawn open, so he's gonna have to take this. If it's something that could somehow minus power from the Momo, we would have been in trouble, but it wasn't. We use Momo's ability to detach 2 Dawn. He gets Rush and 1K. And then we go 11, which is actually 10K, I think. And we end up getting it. So GG, shout out. And then I think my buddy's round is also almost over. But yeah, very close, very fun matchup. I love playing against him. He's always got fun decks. We'll see. Lucy's board looking pretty crazy with a couple of blockers. The Brook, Laboon, Who's Who. And I apologize. I guess I do not have the remainder of the footage for the Lucci game. He ended up winning. So we got 5 points for that round. So at total, we're at 11 going into the 4th round. So I think for our final match, the way the points were working, one of us had to win the match, no matter who, and we would have been like guaranteed to win. So as long as we both don't lose, we'll be good. But yeah, apologies. I don't know why I cut the footage or what happened. All right. Shout out to our last round. I am playing against my first blue purple loopy of the night. Shout out to these two. They were a little bit from out of town. Came in for the event, so it was really cool to talk and meet some new players, or not new players, but like new to the card shop that I go to, right? So new faces, right? We did end up, I think, winning dice roll, so we're going first, which is really nice. And then we have Hiyori, so we go 6th in life. So we'll see if we set up the Nekomamushi, which I think I do. Even though he's not a 6k stat line, it's still nice to have that option. And I see my next turn, right? I'll be able to play out Tonoyasu to buff my leader, and then use those 2 rested on to attach to Nekomamushi. And then my buddy is playing against Bello Betty, which can be pretty scary, depending on how well you're able to keep pressure on the board, right? It can be pretty rough for Bello Betty too, right? Just all those 5 and less cost cards are totally hard to remove for Lucci, but it depends on how much the Bello Betty has in their life in terms of triggers, right? But we ended up getting him down to 1 life and playing out our Nekomamushi on, and then going for the Tonoyasu to buff our leader. And then I think we I'm worried about getting like a bottom deck effect, right? So I swing first with Nekomamushi, and then I go 8 at life, and so we'll have an 8 and a 10. Could have gone 9 and 9, but I know he has big events up, so I was just like the Thunder Bagua, which I know gets him to 10. So getting 1 10k swing in there makes it so I actually got, I think, more cards than if I just went 9 and 9, right? Because if I just went 9 and 9, he just uses Thunder Bagua twice, whereas getting that 1 10k swing in there required another card on top of the Thunder Bagua, but the Thunder Bagua did allow him to ramp a lot, so that was pretty scary. But we see on my buddy's Lucci board, I think he has Cobra, which is a 2-cost blocker, I believe. Who's Who. Pretty nice. He's being able to remove board, right? And again, just being able to take first from blue purple Luffy is kind of a big deal, right? And I think he wasn't familiar with some of the cards, so I have no problem with people stopping and reading my stuff, and I've got all my cards in like double sleeves, so it's not a big deal to me. I don't mind when people look at the cards, read the cards, right? I don't want to be a jerk and like over explain stuff when like I think people are newer when they know, because that's just like, don't need to over explain things. But like if somebody is curious about a card, I'm always okay with them reading and stuff. Not saying that he was a newer player or anything bad with that, obviously. But I believe he's playing more of like the Don Quixote build that like won a regional recently, which is a very interesting build. It has a lot of card draw potential, and also a lot of defense with getting some of those events back to hand, right? With like the Viola blocker and stuff. He goes into our Nekomamushi. I think he said 9, but I think he rested the Don instead of attaching it, but that's fine. Not a big deal to me. So we're just going banish. Yeah, going 10 banish at life. And you see, we do have the Hody in hand, so that's why I'm just trying to get him down to 0 life. So that way, if he plays out like a category blocker, we can just rest that in the Don and go for game, right? But he goes another Thunderbagua, right? And luckily we get, I think, what is that? A 0 costing the Sanji. So getting some good counter out of him. And then we attach 2 to Izo to form a blocker. So if he big moms at this point, yeah, that's pretty rough. We'll have to connect another swing with double attack, which it does suck, but we're still in a pretty decent spot. We're I think my buddy won over there. So right now, I think yes, we did win the 2v2 because he won his matchup, but we're still playing out ours, right? So we'll see what he plays out. And also just having the second Hody, I want to stay pretty healthy, so that's why the Izo blocker is pretty nice. So we're still at 3 life, so we'll probably have at least like maybe 1 or 2 more turns. He goes 6, and I think we just block because I'm gonna take a life anyway. But he just plays out the Katakuri and then has 1 Don open after that. And then yeah, we're just gonna probably Hody this turn, right? So we just Hody, take our top life, rest the blocker in the Don, and we go 7 to life. I believe he said he did have 2 1k counters after he went to look to get out of the 7. But if he went after the 7, I probably would have just got him, maybe got rid of the Katakuri blocker. And I did have the second Hody, right, to go for a game the following turn. So we would have just been able to do the same thing, right? But GG, shout out to everyone that we played. Very fun event. It's nice doing something different. Yamato's just been a lot of fun. I didn't go into this with like, I don't know, really high hopes, I guess, because I really wasn't that excited about the promo Croc. I'll be real. I don't know. Obviously, I wanted to do well because it's not just like me playing for content like I do with some locals. You know, I've got a teammate that I don't want to just go 0-4 over here and drag him down, right? But we both had fun. Both did pretty well. It's nice doing these different types of events. Met some new faces, so that was really cool. But yeah, we'll go over the deck list now. But here is the deck list. Like I said, 3 Onami, we're running 3 Toniyasu, 3 Hiyori just for that very nice draw. Also to cheat out our 5 cost Momo a little bit more Don efficiently. But I just like that pure draw power kind of helps us find Hody more times than not. If you notice a lot of my matches, I mean, I'm mostly time just mulligan for it anyway, right? But I did use it a few times. Hody, I cut the Momo Searcher, which I'm sad about, to be honest. I like the Searcher. For going second, it gives your opponent something they have to swing into rather than our life, so we don't have to defend our life, because like I said, I don't really want to take any life until at my opponent's at 3 or less. So that kind of saves me from countering out, right? But Toniyasu is very nice for 2 Don as well. We still have a Searcher option for 2 Don too, like with the Yamato, but the Momo is just really nice for that. Running 3 of the Onami, because again, even though I'm not maxing out the copies, I think 7 copies of Banish is enough, especially when 4 of them are searchable, right? Got 4 Hiyori. I just love stacking the trigger bodies. It's so nice. 4 Izo, Ashura Doji at 3 copies. It's very nice for a lot of matches, especially against like green purple Luffy, right? Getting rid of Sanji Pudding. It's super good. 4 Kikunojo, 2 of the Nekomamushi. I just really like this. I think the being able to attack active characters has just been always really good for getting through blockers, right? So truthfully, I would like to get more copies of this in. I don't like having too many 2-ofs. I feel like it's not consistent. However, it's just kind of like a backup piece, right? For getting through blockers. We always have Hody, we have Izo, we have the Demonic Aura event, right? So we have other options to get through blockers than just swinging into them, but it's just another trigger body, right? So that brings our total up to 10 for the deck, which is, it's not like a crazy amount, but it's enough that like you can sometimes just win off of getting one of these out of life. And then we got the Kinemon as our last 2K. 3 of both of the Momos, right? I just felt with like 4 copies, there were too many bricks, and the bricks that I have in the deck, like the demonic aura. At least that triggers to rest of 4 cost out of life, but also is very Dawn efficient for swinging for game and very needed. Again, we have 5 copies of things that can buff our leader to get more like heavy swings, and demonic aura can come in handy for going for game. Like in that first game against Bella Betty, if I had actually, I don't know, I just didn't think that with 1 life left that it could have been the Karsu, but you know, that would have been a perfect time to use this, right? But yeah, that's the deck list. Not claiming to have invented any of this. I think these cards have been in Yamato for a very long time, right? These are just like my personal ratios and the deck list that I liked, right? I've always talked about there's a bunch of different ways you can build Yamato, so just find the one that works for you and that you enjoy playing. Truthfully, this is just a very fun, aggressive list, right? Nothing beats on 4 Dons swinging like 10k banish with this or this, right? Buffing us up a bit to 8k at the very least. It's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it. Let me know what you think of the list down in the comments. I'll try and get my buddy's Lucci list if he doesn't mind, you know, responding to me. I'll put that in the description. Let me know down in the comments if you went to one of the 2v2 events, how you did, what you and your partner ended up playing. Very fun stuff, so I highly encourage trying to sign up for these things when they are available, right? Because I can't remember the last time there was like a 2v2 event. So yeah, fun stuff. Glad we did well. Glad I did well with the deck that I enjoyed, right? Yamato's been fun. Been playing the deck since set 6. What can I say? Just the double attack's very fun for me. And there's just so many ways to build it. As I keep saying. Yeah. Leave a like, subscribe. Hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.